Yes, my family, give thanks for your presence. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie first. Of course, you know you're in the Tiger's Nest. Honorable Priest Isaac here with you. We're going to have a wonderful sit down. Definitely going to have a wonderful program. And I know for sure this is the subject area many of us need to penetrate on. We're talking about our economic strength as a people, as a nation. We're talking about empire building. Quite interesting, eh? This is a program I wanted to have on open mic night, but all of you saw what happened previous evening. All of you saw what happened last night. That's last night, because that's the last night anything like that can ever happen to I can tell you that for sure. I mean, some of you would not have witnessed it. Only after the fact you would have seen the video that we did when we said this is why we say this ain't no joke and so and forth and so fifth. But of course, for those who do not know, while we were live with the open mic night, we actually just opened the field and said, hey, anybody that wants to come in, come in. And anybody that wanted to come in came in. And of course, we had an infiltration by one of our enemies, and we had to cut them down, and we had to definitely, check our strategy again. So we're going to cease with the open mic night, and that's what the enemy wants, because the enemy can see that we're opening the field, so you now can come and have your say, so we could have sensible conversations and specifically look at this on another level. And as you could see, the reasoning last night was Haile Selassie and the whole realms of the Almighty. The enemy don't like to hear that at all, especially when we are balancing out the whole aspect of the masculine and feminine. And the enemy felt that, hey, we got to get in there and spoil the show. And to some degree, they did it. But it's all right. You can win the battle, but you definitely don't win the war at all. In fact, we got the war in our hands here. But anyway, family, give thanks again for your presence. We're going to have a wonderful sit down. I want us to speak about nation building, empire building, our economic strength as a unit. But again, I will always stress that we need to be economically strong as individuals. So what I'm going to do here, I want to begin by just looking at an excerpt from a documentary that most of us would have seen as it relates to the crisis in the Congo. And of course, as we go through that documentary, we will explain why is it we chose that to speak about economy and economics and finance, because you may say, you're going to give us African history. We don't want African history. We thought you were going to talk about money. Well, we're going to talk a bit about money, but we're more going to talk about economy, our functioning economy as a nation of people, as Africans at home and in the diaspora. That's why it's the diaspora, because it was set to make sure we never see wealth again. This is not by mistake. This is by design. And as I always say, an organized problem needs an organized solution, not no haphazard solution. We got to sit and organize it. So we're going to go into this documentation now. Of course, today's what they call Juneteenth. And if you don't know what Juneteenth is, that's June the 19th. That's when ones celebrate the understanding of the freedom of slavery. That means the last set of slaves, as they call them, enslaved people that heard the news that they were free. That was on June 19th, although they were freed before that. So a lot of ones do keep that celebration. I mean, there's so many things to celebrate, but we give thanks for the energy and the spirit. But I don't want to talk too much about that, just recognizing it there. And today is also what they refer to as Father's Day. Of course, we give thanks for all fathers. We give thanks, especially fathers that show love and stand up in this time. Me personally, I don't celebrate no Father's Day that our colonializers give us, straight up. So I ain't no happy Father's Day to nothing. I don't teach my children to do none of them things. No Mother's Day, none of these things. If you don't like it, that's up to you. You're just pretending as if, you want to hold on to the colonial skirt. That is your business. We are not celebrating the day of Zeus, the day of Hermes, the day of Medusa. These are their fathers and their mothers, the people that give us this Father's Day. There's nothing wrong with Father's Day. It's just sad that we are not organized enough so that we can have our true Father's Day, which we really do. You know, I see some people wishing Haile Selassie happy Father's Day. Yo, I mean, hey, remember the king in the different realms right now. You know? I mean, that to me, that's like saying Merry Christmas. That's like saying Merry Christmas. To me, that's like saying Happy Halloween. To me, that's like saying Happy Thanksgiving. There's nothing wrong with Thanksgiving. How can there be anything wrong with giving thanks? But trust me, I am not going to sit down at no table and be talking about Happy Thanksgiving, I mean, off of the structure that the colonializers gave me. Trust me. The same thing with Mother's Day. We already went through that. We showed you in depth where Mother's Day came from. And the day of motherly vibration and all sort of witchcraft vibes they concocted. That's their celebration. They didn't really just force it on us, you know. They had it before they even came for us. Their Witches' Day that they turned to Mother's Day. And now we are captivating that spirit. I'd be crazy to tell anybody that they don't show their mother's love. And I don't mean every day. Yes, you're supposed to show love to your mother every day, whether she's here or she passed on. You're supposed to have that motherly spirit. I'm not saying that as an excuse. I'm just saying, but for you to concentrate, remember it's energy you're putting now. You're concentrating your energy and frequency behind the colonializers' Mother's Day. And they didn't just bring it out of the blue. That's why they do it at a certain time of the month. And they watch the moon and the new moon and the full moon and say, okay, this time is Mother's Day. That's why they don't, the Mother's Day and the Father's Day don't fall on the same date every year. It's always on a Sunday. It's always after some sort of full moon. So obviously it's some astrological thing they're doing. That's not Africa. The Africans didn't give you that Father's Day. The Africans didn't give you that Mother's Day. It is your enslaver that gave that to you. And they strategically know why they gave that to you too. Straight up, you understand? But hey, don't get me wrong, I'm not a party pooper. All I'm saying is that when we hold on to all of these different folly days that our enemy has given us, remember our enemy's system is going to fall. And when the wicked system falls, Santa Claus is going to fall too. So those of us who holding up Santa Claus, what you're going to do when it falls? You're going to keep it up when we go on to Zion. And when I say go to Zion, I mean when we reach to that state of upliftment. You know, I'm not being religious. When we go to that state of bliss, which we are getting to, because the enemy system will fall. If it's one thing I know, the enemy system will fall. Although we're talking business, that's why you see me have gold here, because their dollars and cents, it's going to fall, you know. So Christmas is going to fall, you better believe it. Thanksgiving Day will fall. It's not going to be there forever. It's not going to always be no Black Friday. The system that keep that up is crumbling. You may die before it fall, but it will fall someday. Trust me. And their Mother's Day will fall with it. Their Father's Day will fall with it. Their Halloween will fall with it. Their 4th of July will fall with it. All of their folly days will fall with it, no matter how much they pretty it up. I mean, what can be as important as the birth of the Christ child? But are you going to celebrate the 25th of December, Christmas too? But then I got to be careful because some of us do that too. But let me be clear. I'm not coming down on no one, you know, I'm just speaking to you as a brother. In fact, you know, this is not even the subject. It just dawned on me that it's the so-called Father's Day, you know, and in fact, as you heard, I just gave a good word for those who are fathers, really. But I'm your brother. I mean, and to some of you, I'm your teacher. And again, you know, you can sit and think it over. I'm not telling you to go haywire and cold turkey and get rash with nobody and cuss no one out. No, not at all. We don't do that. People see me, oh, happy Father's Day. Oh, thank you very much. Of course, what do you think I'm going to do? Stop us, hey, fire upon. I mean, no. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And move on, really. That's it. You know, it's diplomacy. But I'm telling you, Africa, that ain't our stuff. Straight up. And it's not, I'm going to repeat this before I go into it. I want you to understand. You have to keep in mind. You see, we're overcome with emotions. So we're going to ask, what's wrong with having a day for your mother? Again, I would be crazy to tell you something's wrong with that. What's wrong with having a day for your father? I would be a lunatic to say, yo, you crazy. What is it about any Father's Day? Of course, we must honor these people. I don't mean every day. Giving them a specific day, a week or a month, I am totally in agreement with that. But your enemy's Mother's Day and your enemy's Father's Day is not a day they just chose out of the sky. They know why they choose these specific dates, time, date, and how the heavens is moving. They know why. And then when you take your time and study the origin of their Father's Day and Mother's Day, like we did Mother's Day, I'm not going into that now. But when you take the time, you can go back and watch the videos. When you take the time to study it, you see it's witches and warlocks they're promoting on these key days. And they give it to us and nice it up, and now we're, hey, necktie and you know, everything, and a shaving cream. I'm going to buy this for my father and XYZ, and we keep it up. So what we're doing now, we're giving our energy and spirit to these spooky days that they have created and given to us. You know, their old culture, but they give it to us because we have to pick up. Remember, our culture, it has been taken away. The same way they take away our name and we have to use their names is the same way they take away our culture. And now we're moving with their culture. So I'm saying, family, listen to me good. The time will come when the system that runs this world will crumble. This is not religion. This is not belief. This is just a fact. And when it crumbles, whether you love Christmas tree, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, or Father's Day, if you mean you're not letting go, well, I mean, if you're not letting go, trust me, you can't stop it from falling. So I would advise you let it go. You cannot stop it from falling. It will fall, it will sink. And in the same way somebody was telling me the other day, so what, we gonna carry Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and John to Africa? Exactly. So you're gonna carry Thanksgiving Day to Africa. You're gonna carry Christmas to Africa, whether it's there already or not. The idea is liberating yourself. You're gonna carry their Father's Day, their Mother's Day, when we can prove that their stuff comes from all sorts of sorcery, and their fathers that they are emulating is some sort of mad, crazed Greek Roman god. Just think about it. But hey, don't make me spoil your party. If you don't want to listen to me and do your thing, please do your thing. Don't get vexed with me and tell me no funniness and try to comment and try bonfire me, because I ain't gonna be pleased. Just go ahead and do what you're doing. I just decided to highlight something to you. And anyway, so as I said now, wow, I could imagine how many people get turned off for that one. But I mean, I don't care. I really don't. I mean, some of us, we too soft. We soft. We soft. We don't want to hear no truth. We just want to, live in a kind of lie vibes forever. But anyway, as I said, family, we're going straight into this. We're talking about minding your own business. I know somebody may be saying, well, you better mind your business and leave our stuff alone. Yes, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to mind my business now. And of course, minding your business really comes within the whole concept of business. And as I was saying previous night, we're all a business, whether you like it or not, definitely. Even if you don't so-called own a business, you are your own business. And let me just say quick, because I hear some people still grumbling. Family, as Africans, I got to repeat it again, because some people just don't want to hear. We celebrate our parents, our mother, father, grandparent. We do that. We have days for that. And our days are aligned with certain energies. And that is why we choose these days to do things. It's not just haphazardly. I'm trying to show your enemy knows what they're doing. There's none of them days the enemy can give me and I'm saying, yeah, man, this is the day and I'm working with it. That's all I'm saying. But because it's mommy and it's daddy, you know, we get emotionally soft with it. No matter how conscious we are, we get emotionally soft. We all want to bring it into the house of Rastafari. Me, yo, I would tell you, hey, not in here. I would say that. You know, the house of Rastafari is church and service. I lead in any service, anybody gonna get up and try talk and talk. I say, hey, no. We need to big up them things in here. Are you serious? You could be vexed with me. You don't even have to talk to me again. We need to big up them things in here. Yeah, man, straight up. Now, anyway, as I said, what we are going to do, I want us to touch a bit on this, the whole crisis in the Congo, uncovering the truth. We're not going to look at all of it. In fact, just a few minutes, and then we will reason why it is that I brought this to you. Hey, keep in mind, family, that you can definitely advertise with the Tiger's Nest right here on YouTube. Again, so if you have a business and you are looking to promote and advertise, this is the best spot for you to do so, not just because of the audience, and we have a wonderful audience. We have an audience that will support you. Once you come with something good, as I said, you could have the best product. If nobody knows about it, I mean, that's it. Nobody knows about it. So no one can patronize you if they don't know about it. So definitely contact us. You know how to contact us, email, you know how to contact us, phone number, and definitely we would, you know, definitely make sure that your product gets the best exposure as possible. And that is, of course, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. That's Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com, or you could definitely give us a call on the number that you see there. And remember, you can get 2 mentions, 3 mentions, 4 mentions a day, whatever the case is. And keep in mind, when your mention goes on these videos, it's not just like a radio show and you hear it one time and you don't hear it again, and you don't hear it until you put on another ad. Remember, these videos play over and over again, and people come and watch them more than once, and every day people watch these videos because they're set to be evergreen videos. So for sure, if you understand the value of promotion and getting your name out there as a business, very important. Promotion is a very important part of sales, because again, if we don't know you, we cannot flow with you, cannot buy from you, cannot patronize you. So the more that you are known, the more that your name is out there, the more that people know you have this to offer, it is the better for you. So whether you are selling shoes, fixing shoes, baking cakes, painting houses, fixing stoves, selling car tires, it doesn't matter, wherever you are. There are people in your neighborhood that sit and listen to the Tiger's Nest right here on YouTube. So trust me, family, especially if you have a product that can be shipped out internationally, especially if you have a product that is digital and virtual, and you give virtual consultations on whatever it is, house decor, or how to cook and how to prepare meals, or whatever it is that you do, family. You understand? You could advertise with us right here on the Tiger's Nest and get the economic stability, you know, going for us as a nation and us as a people. And of course, our what we offer is very inexpensive, extremely inexpensive, for the value, the quality, and the quantity that you will get. Remember, it's just $10 in a month. You can pay as little as $10 and get a quality mention, and you can get countless mentions for 2 strong period for just $100. And as I said previous night, that if you're serious about promoting yourself and promoting your business and whatever it is you're promoting, service, products, whatever, you definitely should be in the ear of the people, a specific audience, at least for 2 strongs. 1 ad is good. You know, you may get a sale, but when you hear this ad continually coming to you, it becomes a part of you. You expect it. And as I said, from research, sometimes I think the average time a person would have to hear a commercial or an ad before they act is about 14 times. That's not me saying that, that is from the studies and the research that has been done. So family, we're very serious about that when it comes to the whole aspect of your promotion. As I said, that is very important when it comes to the fullness of business. Yeah, crisis in the Congo.
Congo is like a nightmare in heaven. It's a heaven because, you know, Congo is the heart of Africa. So much natural resources, the people, the animals, the flowers, everything, you know. Congo is heaven, but the thing is that people are living like in hell. People are dying. At first, we used to hear 1 million people die, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the situation is getting worse and worse, you know, because the money is there, the resources are there in Congo, and everybody wants a piece of Congo.
Check it out.
Everybody wants a piece of Congo.
You know, man said the money there, the resources there, but exactly what is really taking place? Let's uncover the truth.
Why are people living hand to mouth in one of the most mineral-rich countries in the world? The Congo produces more than $1 billion of gold alone each year.
And the cobalt and the tin and the copper and the tungsten, all of that we're benefiting from, but yet we're silent.
When people invade your country, they rape your women, they rape the kids, they morally control your mind.
There's a pattern to genocide. You can see it coming. I mean, it's like a hurricane.
Are we going to have to wait for 20 more years before somebody does something to stop this Holocaust?
There's a global consensus that exists that says it's okay for nearly 6 million black people to die in the heart of Africa and for us to be silent.
So I kept asking our intelligence people, is there any truth to this? I mean, what's happening out there?
I don't think policymakers could claim that they didn't know.
There's something wrong. There's something wrong with us in terms of the way we think about Africa.
The story of Congo is often overlooked for its complexity. It's a story where boundaries are porous and national identities mean little. Militant groups with ever-changing acronyms are not who they claim to be, and neighbors loot and murder while they are praised by the international community. But the death toll is now surpassing that of the Holocaust, in part because of the way the United States is involved in Central Africa. Now facing a critical juncture in their history, the Congolese people need us to change the way we're involved so that they can have the space to start rebuilding their country.
The first principle to understand about the Congo: the affairs of the Congo have not been determined by the people of the Congo. The national boundaries were formed at the Berlin Conference in 1885 when Congo was given to King Leopold II of Belgium as his own personal property.
He owned it for 23 years, and during that time made a huge fortune off the territory, estimated at well over $1 billion in today's American dollars, primarily from turning people into forced laborers to gather ivory and then even more so wild rubber.
As the Belgians were pursuing ivory and rubber, though, they discovered lots of gold deposits, diamonds, copper, cobalt, and many other minerals.
So, since 1885, Congo has been caught in the midst of a geostrategic battle, primarily for her natural resources.
Part of its ongoing conflict has been the desire by different armed groups and neighboring countries to benefit, to get rich, to make money from those particular minerals.
These resources that are found in the Congo are vital to major industries in the West, whether we're talking about the automotive industry, aerospace industry, technology industry. the electronics industry, even the jewelry industry.
These minerals exist in great profusion throughout the Democratic Republic of Congo, especially in its eastern part. And this is the largest territory on Earth which really doesn't have a functioning government.
People can say anything, but the Congo is still a police state. There is no freedom of the press. You hear people being killed. The army is not an army. You know, this is a bunch of people who are indisciplined, who still roam the streets.
But all this 125 years must be taken into consideration to fully understand why Congo is in a weakened state today. If we look from 1885 to 1908, we're talking about personal rule, enslavement. From 1908 to 1960, colonialism, Congo under colonial rule. Congo finally elects its leader in 1960, and in 61 was assassinated. So we have assassination. Then a dictator was put over the people for another 3 decades. So now we have dictatorship. Then an invasion was backed from outside with Rwanda and Uganda in 1996 that Congolese people suffer from to this day. So we have 125 years of this. Now what that does is it destroys and eviscerates the Congolese institutions.
And when you have great wealth, no government, it's an open invitation, and it's been a sort of a free-for-all war as rival warlords surrounding African countries like Rwanda and Uganda in the east have just gone in there and helped themselves to this enormous natural wealth.
Since 1996, the conflict in Congo has claimed the lives of an estimated 6 million people. Today, neighboring governments continue plundering by using proxy forces to displace entire communities for access to the land.
Wako nasema ni rako Darfur iko natoka Rwanda, inatokea Rwanda inakuja mpaka huku. Maeko mambo ya kusema rako ndio iko napigana. Basha shuka mpaka hivi. Kiumba yote donc kiumba iko hapa nayo inatombe. Njoki ona population yote ya kiumba wote wanakimbia.
Scenes like this are often misunderstood as simply the result of an ethnic war, a mistake that only benefits those trying to hide their illegal exploits.
It has nothing to do with ethnicity. They killed Congolese like they were flies. You see how people, you feel a mosquito and you just hit? That's exactly how they killed. It did not mean anything to them how they were killing the Congolese, as long as we can just wipe them out and get access. I mean, the mines exist. People used to live in those areas. Have we ever asked who was living where the mine was before? Did the mine just show up? No, there were villages where those mines were.
From 1996 to the present, an estimated 6 million dead. Abject poverty. People living in bestial conditions. Hundreds of thousands of women systematically raped as a strategy of war.
Rape happened to be one of the weapons that worked the most, because as soon as you destabilize a community, you rape the entire village, the women of the entire village, in front of the children, in front of the husband, in front of the neighbors, that community is broken completely. Because the men cannot look at the wives in the eye and say, we were unable to protect you, and the women cannot survive that trauma.
Congo is one of the worst places in the world to be a woman or a girl. And one of my recent trips to Congo, I met up with a young girl who was 15 years old.
Now, as I said, wouldn't carry it to all through the whole documentary. But basically, the beginning of the documentary somewhat started to touch upon where I wanted to, take the conversation. Now, this story has been told before, and some of us may or may not be aware of exactly what is taking place in the Congo over all these decades. And I'm happy how it began, where those who participated in this discussion would have showed you that, hey, this really began even from Leopold II, the King of Belgium. And You know, he basically, when they divided Africa, he, unlike the others, literally owned the Congo. That was his land. Like he personally, they would say, own the Congo. And being that it was his personal property now, so he owned all the rubber trees. In fact, the whole aspect of cutting off the hands of the Congolese was because of rubber. Now, Congo is one of the richest areas in the world. Congo is one of the poorest states on the planet. Let me rewind and say that again. The Congo is one of the richest areas in the world. The Congo is one of the most poorest, more poor of the places on the planet, however the grammar goes, yo. But the point is that when the Belgians came in, and of course it was war, don't make it seem as if these people just walking into Africa and just did what they wanted. They had to lose some lives. In the same way that Menelik II and before him, Johannes and these ones, in the same way that they would have warded off the British and the Italians, and even prior to that, is the same way that the rest of Africa stood up against them. We know of the Zulu Wars, we know of the Ashanti Wars. Yes, at the end of it, the British may have overcome, but where's the rest of the story? How long did it take them to overcome? Some of us don't know that, and there's several wars that the British had to have with the Ashantis. And the British had to keep running away until they finally, whatever it is they did, you know how it is with them. Even war has rules, and they break the rules in the war. You forget what Mussolini did with his mustard gas? Imagine Mussolini have all them tanks, flamethrowers, planes, warships, battleships. Ethiopia ain't got none of these things here. And he still had to use mustard gas, which was outlawed since World War I. So don't when it sounds like if they won the war, they cheated. They cheated. Now remember, even as peace-loving people, we are warriors and we are fighters. And that is why the British had to take so long before it conquered many of the African armies, the French, all of them. Even when Leopold came into Congo, he didn't just come and take them up. There was strong rebellion. But remember these killers now. These killers were well put together when it comes to these weapons of massacre and guns and bombs and all these sort of things. This is what these demons dream of when they go to sleep at night. This is what they sit around the table and plot, how to make things that can kill people, how to make things that can blow people to smithereens. That's their joy. We never really thought like that, but we were defensive. But we didn't think about going and bombing nobody's city. They came with bombs. They came with it, dropping bombs on us. We didn't have no bombs to drop back. That's just the truth. But yet still, we stood up against them in most cases. Several times they had to run away and come back. And we fought and fought and fought till the last drop of our blood, until eventually Africa is the Africa that you know today. That is why you celebrate that Ethiopia, of all the places in Africa, of all the gates of Jacob, you know, the city of Ethiopia where the Lord dwells is the only part of Africa, Abyssinia, that was never colonialized, that was never conquered. So when they came in now, what they did, they forced those that they have now subdued. They forced them to go into the forest and get rubber for their rubber industry that they're running back in Europe. Remember, you know, Europe and them places ain't got no heap of no rubber tree nowhere to be making no tires in. Congo had all the rubber, or to be making whatever it is they use rubber to make, because rubber is used in so many different things, you know, from your, as I said, the tire and many other aspects of the car, you know, in some rubber shoes, even the eraser that we used to call at school a rubber, you know. So the rubber is something that is needed on the planet. There's so many things, rubber hose, rubber pipe. Rubber is something that's needed. And if you've ever seen the rubber tree and how you get rubber from the tree, you run a knife across the tree and it drips this stuff, just drips, drips, just drips it in. Not no whole gush, drips, 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 until you get the ball of rubber. You understand? So when they sent the Congolese into the jungle, what they would have done, they would have tied up their wives, built some cages for their wives and children, and kept their wives and children in a cave. This is the Belgians, and send the fellas into the forest. Sometimes they took months before they came back, because they could not come back empty-handed. And they will come back to their family. Because when you come back empty-handed, you will be left empty-handed. They will chop off your hand. And although I've never visited Belgium, but I've seen the pictures, some of you would have seen even in some documentaries, where they have the statue of the European god as such, that is known for chopping off his enemy's hands. So you see, that's why I was talking what I was saying earlier, when I was talking about the days that we celebrate. I wouldn't even say the day, because some of you are gonna get offended. When we celebrate these European holidays, you have to keep in mind that it's an energy that they bring with it. Hey, them people serious about their culture. Have you ever watched the Santa Claus massacre that we did for the last Hagmas that passed? We have the webinar, the Santa Claus massacre. You can just visit our website and go into the shop and look for the video, the Santa Claus massacre. You should order it. It's only $20. It's a beautiful video that your children would love too. The Santa Claus massacre. You know, I know you may be saying, oh, I've seen that on YouTube. Oh, I watched that. I heard you years ago when none of them is the savior. None of them is the same. It's always different. The one we did for the last Hagmas gone, the last Christmas, and praying that that's the last one for real. Yeah, trust me. Yeah, when we did that, that episode has information that none of the episodes have. And we clearly showed it. Oh, that was a different one altogether. We showed you the link with Santa Claus and Odin. But anyway, this the person that they got the name God from. But what we also expressed to you is how deep rooted all aspects of Hagmas is in old-time European culture and folklore. Everything, mistletoe, Christmas tree, strings and things on the tree, the hanging balls, presents wrap up, the bow, all these colorful paper, everything is coming from their tradition, their culture. So when they come with this new stuff, you see it's still there, pretty it up and give it a new name and all of that, but it's the same European stuff, roasted marshmallows that we're keeping up. So I'm saying that to say this, you can see that these fellas are very traditional. Their patriot deity is a demon that chop off people's hands. Look at that. Their patriot deity is a demon that cut off your hands from the wrists. And that is what they did to the people of the Congo when they did not bring back enough rubber. We don't even get to the gold. We don't get to the cassiterite. We don't get to the coltan. We don't get to the cobalt. We don't get to the platinum. We don't get to the diamonds, none of these stuff. And remember, some of these minerals that the Congo have, you don't find them nowhere else. and they're necessary for even modern day technology. So Congo's supposed to be an empire. Congo's supposed to be like at the top of the top, because Congo is necessary to the world. And Congo has the riches, and it's not just rubber and rocks and stones that glitter. It's food as well. And the best soil that can grow the best bananas and whatever else it is that's coming out. The Congo is like the basin that can feed the world 4 times over, but yet still inside of the Congo, people are starving. And you may be saying, what does this have to do with business? What does this have to do with our economical growth? Remember, when it comes to really building an economy, not just making money, building an economy, it starts with education. I mean, we could go and have a job and make money. You may make a little bit of money, or you may make relatively what people call a lot of money. Yeah. But that's, you know, exchange for your time and your energy for some paper. And more than likely, the so-called job is set in a way that the paper you get is somehow just enough to make sure you get by. If it's a little more, you can get by and save a little bit. But for the vast majority of the field hands, it has not been designed so you can escape permanent poverty. In fact, it has been designed to keep you in permanent poverty. Poverty, some of us feel that, you know, because we drive in a car and you pass somebody on the road begging $1, like they poor and you rich. Yeah, how mistaken we are, relatively speaking. And it's a mind frame too. And because, you know, we so want to be like, but you see, this is why history is important. This is why I'm starting here with history. Because if we build in an empire, we have to know all of this. This is a constructive design to ruin our empire. Yeah. As I said, every organized problem needs an organized solution. This is well organized to ruin our empire and to keep us in problem. So for us to get out of the problem, for us to get out of the debt, D-E-B-T is debt, you know, it's debt they recall, not debit, debt. For us to get out of the miry clay, we got to be strategic, not just work hard and see how much you can sweat. We got to be strategic in the same way that they were strategic to ruin the empire. Ruins of empire. So we have to build the empire strategic, and you cannot begin unless you know what brought you to this state. It's the Sankofa bird. While it's going forward, it's looking back. We're going forward, but we're looking back. So the fact that the richest, one of the richest countries or real estate on the planet is one of the poorest countries on the planet. Just think about that. That's a well-designed chokehold, well-executed stranglehold, that you have minerals that nobody else have, that the world cannot do without. You have it in abundance, plus so many other things. And every night we look on the news and see how terrible things are with you. How this happened? And we're gonna blame, some of us, we're gonna blame Leopold II. Yeah, man, enough blame go to them. Some of us, we're gonna blame the people that run the Congo today. Same thing there too, you know. But what about us? What are we doing? Those of us who are armchair generals, what are we doing? What, we too small to do something? If Leopold could do something, and he wasn't from Congo, he wasn't even a black person. If he can do something to ruin the empire, so why we can't do something to build it up? You see where we're thinking now? This is where we need to think. And this is why I personally, too, I encourage I and I as people to build ourselves individually. Of course, it's good to say, let us pool our resources together. But if we ain't got no resource to pool together, it's a waste of time. You have to keep in mind, that is why many of you who have your degrees or some special certification, or you went to college and all of that, maybe your parents went to college, but before that, nobody was going to college. So that's why when grandmother sent your mother and your father or whoever to college, they were so proud. Because Negroes were not going to no college at that time. We have to watch the pattern of history now. We chronicling history there as such. Because if you were born 10 years ago, you may believe that everyone always had a cellular phone. Some of us who were born 40 years ago, we thought that cars were always around. Until we got the understanding and the lessons and saw the pictures of how the city used to look in 1930 and say, wait, this is it? Because things have changed and evolved. So Black people were not really going to no college. Can't you see? When we look at the history of the United States of America in the 1950s and 60s, and even up to the early 70s, people have to be fighting and putting their life on the line to get the children into a school that will give them some level of credit when they have, completed the course. To go to a college, Harvard, or one of these places, you'd have to be from Ethiopia to get into some of these colleges, straight up, because of the high respect the world had to give to the emperor. That is why you would see Black students leaving Ethiopia, going to the top colleges in the United States of America, Canada, and England. Don't play with the dignified God, eh? Yeah, Marcus Garvey said, when black man face go on money, African liberation is nigh. Yes, so give thanks for the printing of the money at the same time. And he himself, Marcus Garvey, face end up on money too. Yeah, so what I'm showing you, family, we have to think like this to it. We have to, keep this aspect of our economic growth to the forefront, or even to, meditate on how is it that this international poverty has hit our people. Yeah, I know a few people are millionaires and a few are billionaires and a few are 100,000-aires, and you have a couple of thousandaires, some 100-aires, and them kinds, some $10-aires, and so. But at the same time, how many of us are really free? And usually those who get a blight, because I'm trying to show you, in the 50s, the 40s, there was no millionaire basketball player, or no millionaire football player, or no millionaire entertainer and singer and rapper. None of that exists in the 1940s, the 1930s, the 1920s. And keep in mind, that even amongst, and I'm giving you the history of the West, and even amongst the United States, for example, of course, they were millionaires. They were billionaires. They may have been millionaires then, but if you were to compare it to the value of the money today, you could say that they were billionaires of that day. I'm talking of Europeans. They had Europeans coming in from Ireland, from Italy, from all sorts of places in Europe, and they were given hands up so that they could make something of themselves. Plus they stuck together. So then out of them came millionaires and billionaires. They had the opportunity to go to the colleges that were established. They were the ones that would receive the degrees. We didn't have no opportunity at all to get no degrees, even though we were let loose, even though we were free. Today is Juneteenth. We were free. We were free to go. But go where? And by that time, nobody really seemed to want to return to the origin of where it all started. So we decided to try to get equal and civil rights where we were left and where we served as slaves. And because we helped, and not only helped, but basically built the nation, we thought we had some right to this stuff here. And we fought and we fought to make sure we were included in many different ways. But during the time of our fight, family, we were a real set of poor people. So even those who have been amongst us that are millionaires today as Black people, their grandparents were poor people. They didn't inherit the money. You know. They had to, the same grandparents had to struggle and work hard so that their mothers could get a better step up and better education than grandmother, so that she eventually could get her children in college, and maybe they made a way for themselves, and now they are millionaires and at least can pay a mortgage and maybe can buy a nice car and maybe send their children to the best school. So it's a pattern. As I said, depending on when you were born, you may just see one of these stages and not realize that there was a stage before that. And even before all of that, there was a stage. We were on the plantations, definitely no college degrees there. Oh, that's the no read and write zone. So there's no reading, no writing, no schooling, nobody teaching you nothing except how to cut cane. That was the lynching era, the beat you era, and some of that still happened after that, but that was the main time. And then prior to that was the slave ship era. And then prior to that was the battle in Africa for our freedom era. And then prior to that, we had our own empire. So you must be able to see history and chronicle it in your mind as you come down. That's why it is important for us to study. That's why it is important for us to read. So I'm saying all of this to show you that this is a systematic plan to make sure the Negro, the Black people, the Africans are predominantly impoverished. Even if we lose them a bit, just make sure it's hand to mouth. Make them drive a car. It's all right, but not any car. And even if they have an all right looking, we got to be careful. You know, don't make them go too far. Put one of them on the Supreme Court. Don't put too many. Okay, let her come in too, but let's not overdo now. Give them a chance to be the president, but not for too long. Let's get our fella back in there just as soon as he leaves. I know some of us didn't expect this level of discussion. Maybe you wanted to hear how to buy stocks and how to trade and buy shares and all them kind of things. You were the first stocks. Stocks and bonds were you. Wall Street is you they used to sell at Wall Street. Is you they used to sell at Wall Street. Stocks and bonds. In bondage, we were the stocks. We came over as cargo. So if it's you they used to sell at Wall Street, the Wall Street stuff never stopped and started again. I never heard Wall Street say, back in the days, we used to sell Africans. We don't do that now, but I am condemning the practice, and because of the evils that we would have partaken in, I think that it is necessary for us to get a detox, purge ourselves from our wrongdoings, and turn a new leaf. In fact, because of the evils we have done, there's some level of reparation that we must give to the Africans, the descendants of such, which are now Black Americans, who want to invest in stocks and buy shares and real estate. We would give them a percentage off because of the years of damage that we have done to them physically and psychologically. Nobody ever give no speech nearly close to that. Wall Street just continue as it was, just continued as it has modified, as everything else has modified. but it's the same Wall Street. Nobody ever said, we change our minds, nothing. It's the same thing. So in one way or the other, whether you see it or not, it is still designed to make sure you're the stocks and the bonds. According to one deceased prince in Britain, we are the worthless eaters. The man says on that, we are the worthless eaters. So whatever little money you think you're bringing home and you have a picket fence and everybody can sit around the table and you see, they pump that in your mind. That's the American dream. That's the American dream. We have a limit to our dream, a house, a wife or a husband, a dog and a cat, and a goldfish on the table, about 3 children, and we can send them to college, and when they're gone and we live alone and grow old and we can pass on. Who taught you that that's your limit? Who gave you that construct? Once you can do that, you're good, eh? Oh yes, and a car in the garage. Once you can do that, you're good. And then of course we start to think bigger. Some of us want a yacht. We want to be able to fly around the world. Very few of us want even one jet. You know, very few of us want to have a jet company where we make jets. Very few of us want to manufacture cars. Very few of us want to manufacture these big cruise liners that you see come in the harbor. Yeah, why we don't think like that? Because we were not taught to think so. We were taught to be a doctor. That's the highest aspiration in a doctor or a lawyer. What do you want to be? I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a fireman. I want to be a doctor. We want to rise our empire and set up our health system. That's what we want. We want to rise our empire and set up our judicial system. That's what we need. We want to rise our empire and set up our agricultural system, our educational system. And that needs not just money. Money will die one day, but your economical strength and your economical growth is what it needs. Your economy is not necessarily money. Of course, you have assets and you know, what you have acquired, hard assets, land, a machinery that is definitely well-oiled and churning at the right pace. So even when the dollar dies, the few dollars that for you that would have died because you don't have no money stuck in no bank, just sitting down and snoring. Yeah. Real money people don't like to see money sitting in bank. They like to see the money being invested over and over again, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. But a lot of us, we don't think like that. We just make money and put it in the bank and get a 1% at the end of the year and a 1.5% if you are lucky. And the money you put in the bank, when you go back for it, you would hardly get it. Family, the system is well planned. The educational system is a part of it to make sure that we're economically enslaved. The health system, oh man, all of that is a part of it. But you see that educational system? Remember Marcus Mosiah Garvey showed us, oh, and he's the granddaddy. Remember he showed us that once they enslave your mind, they have enslaved your body. Because the mind is this, that's the headquarters. That's where all the rules and directions come from. The orders come from the brain. The brain is not necessarily the mind, but we understand they work together. I mean, the mind is bigger than the brain. The brain is about 3 or 4 pounds. The mind is the universe. Yeah, but the brain helps to communicate with the mind. So from you can get the mind of someone and manipulate their mind. Oh my goodness, that's a serious thing. then you have definitely enslaved their physical body. So again, we live in a society where in that same Congo, our brothers and sisters, you know, they fight amongst each other. It's not Leopold now necessarily coming and chopping off the hands. No, man, we have turned the country over to the Africans. They're in charge now. But the chopping off of the hands still continues. The exploiting of the minerals still continues. It's not just the Congo, you know, I just use the Congo as an example. It's all over. You know, the exploiting of the gold, the diamond, the rubber, the cassiterite and the coltan and the cobalt, it continues. Now, Leopold is still benefiting. Eh? Leopold may not be on the ground in numbers like before. Leopold may not be the one chopping off the hands like before. But Leopold, again, through his educational system and other forms of brainwashing, have us doing it to ourselves. You didn't hear what the narrator said in 1996, Rwanda invaded. I mean, Rwanda was just coming off of a genocide of their own. Rwanda was just coming off of a deadly genocide in 1994 of their own, where 200,000 shy of 1 million people died. And maybe it was 1 million, but the count is officially 800,000. I don't care what tribal war you like to say Africans used to have. We never got through nothing like that. We ain't got nothing like that in our history. Nothing like that in our history. Of course, you know, the apologizers, you know, like to say, oh, Africans sold Africans into slavery. They can't prove that. They don't have not one proof of that. If I couldn't prove that, I would never say that. If I couldn't prove that, if I tell you that now and I can't prove it, and mystically, you know, maybe it's my own neglect to really check it out. You know, some people say I'm very conceited on that point. It's all right, I know why. If somebody up, everybody bowing, I will stand up. Most of the people that you hear say Africans sold Africans into slavery, they can't prove it. They can't prove it. They will have to go and look it up and then come back. So why you said that in the first place? Why did you say that in the first place? My brother is a thief. Yeah? Can you prove that? Well, give me a second. I'm going to Google it. Man, you should be executed right there and then just say that. Those of you who like to say that and can't prove it. You can't prove it. You can't even say, yes, page 99 of so book said that, and then give a name. You can't even do that, whether it's the truth or not. So whether it's the truth or not, and you can't prove that point, why are you saying it? Because, you know, you're still on the plantation in your mind. These are the same Negroes that are going to tell you slavery was legal. Slavery was legal. Fishing is legal, not for the fish, but for you. So slavery is legal. The fact that you say that, that means you have diminished your standard as a people. Slavery was legal to the Europeans, but you didn't have no law. You didn't have a standard of what's legal and what's illegal. So when these killers came into the shores of Africa, or Hawkins and them fellas there came into the west coast of Africa, what did our chiefs tell us? Hey, the white man is coming. They're going to enslave us. We must go with them because slavery is legal. So when we started to fight back, what did they say? Hey, come on, fellas, drop your guns. This is legal. We can charge you for this. So this is why we have to start here, you know, the mentality. This is detoxifying. And what we're doing here, we are detoxifying that mentality so that we can see exactly what the economical war is all about. So even before we reach to a space where we're saying, hey, listen, man, this is how you invest. This is how your money grows. This is how you promote. Yet still you have to comprehend, you know, how is it that we as a people, we as a people are in this state. I'm going to repeat, maybe because, you know, you could buy a nice shoes today and a nice pair of jeans and a nice ride and some crisp chrome rims. Yeah, maybe you could buy a nice house for mommy. And even though you can do all of that, you have to work hard to do that too. Yeah, and it's not everybody can do that. But because we feel we can do that and maybe buy a teddy bear and put it on the bed, somehow we feel we have made it. And again, we fail to do the Sankofa, look back and move forward. So we don't teach the young ones where we are really coming from. So there's a lack of appreciation. A lot of what I'm talking about, I've never seen. But because I've been taught my lessons and I taught myself my lessons, I have to have an appreciation for where we're coming from. So this is why this aspect of it is extremely important. Now, family, as I said, for sure, right here in the Tiger's Nest, we are offering advertising spots for those of you who are business owners, those of you who are managers of businesses, whatever the case is, entrepreneurs, yes, or whatever level you are in business, whatever business you do. So if you bake pastries, if you import tires, if you sell school supplies, if you are an author and you just came out with a brand new book, we can do a whole interview with you. In fact, whatever business you have and you want a one-on-one interview, that will be at a very, very inexpensive price as well. We can do that. All of that is your business, because promoting yourself, I will repeat it, is very necessary. All of us, we are in sales. If you have a business, you are in sales because you have to sell it. You know what, whether it's a service or a product, you have to sell it. So we are already in sales. We cannot get away from that. So if you want your product sold, you have to promote it. I'm not saying that just so you can promote it with I hear. I'm saying that because it's just a reality. And you choose the best means and avenues to promote yourself, promote your product, promote your service, of course. And I'm telling you that you have a very good avenue here in the Tiger's Nest on the Priest Isaac's YouTube channel for sure. And of course, as you can see, the whole aspect of our content and our listenership and our following is even expanding even as we speak. So we have very, very wonderful mention spots available, and you could get a spot for only $10, and you could get a proper package, a weekly package. We call it a strongly package, where you can get two mentions per day in a 5-program strong or 5-program week for only $50. So for the whole strong, you every day within that strong, you get 2 mentions, and that's only $50. Now that would be really a value of $100 as each ad is $10. But you take that package, that's slashed in half, $50. So for 2 weeks or 2 strongs for $100, you get the double, meaning the 2 ads every day. You know, for again, scheduled 5 programs for the strong, 2 ads every day going throughout the day. And keep in mind, when that is done, it's there. The program is recorded. People will see the program every day. People will come and look at that program there, because our videos are set to be evergreen videos. So they always get viewership. They don't just flare up and die down. people will always return to them and return to them. So your product will always be out there. Your service will always be out there. I mean, you have to show love for your business. If you can't invest, sorry to make it sound so, a measly $100 in your business just for the promotion aspect of it, just to make sure your name is out there. I mean, well, I mean, you got to show more love to your product. You have to show more love to your craft so that it can definitely, you know, return the blessings back to you. So you know what to do. Just contact us for sure. Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. That's Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. And get more information, exactly the different levels of packages that we have that can take you through the promotional world and start advertising with us. You will definitely see the difference in your business. I can promise you, people will start to reach out to you. I mean, right away, people will be asking you, how could I get the bottle of that smoothie that you're selling there? Or when can I have a consultation with you? My child is so-and-so as well. You know, do you know I am a diabetic? I would like to have a consultation with you, or whatever. I would like one of those t-shirts that you're selling. Those are some nice sneakers that you have, etc., etc. I would like to get an outfit like that made. So whatever it is that you are promoting, pushing, remember, this is your business, you know. This is your livelihood. This is how the youths them get fed. You understand? This is how Bills get his payments. Bills is somebody. Bill, pay your bills, several bills, and pay the Jews. Everybody got to pay their Jews. So the Jews got to get their payment. You don't know, give Caesar what is Caesar. Real thing. So we got to be serious about our businesses, even if you work for someone. And most of us as conscious ones, even though we work for someone, you know, we have some little thing on the side that we do it. We crocheting some little thing. We're making some little pillow. We're doing some little crochet, something. We're baking something. Promote it. Promote it. Invest something into it, family. Let the word get out. Let people hear about it and promote it constantly too, if you're serious about the economic growth. So when the time comes for us to pool our resources together, we can say, yeah, man, we got real resources to pool together. Man, we're not wicked people. We're not evil people. We are loving people. We are godly people. We're supposed to be wealthy people. How you gonna build the empire? This mentality like we're supposed to pour and yeah, man, we good enough, man. Once we save and Jah we protect. Yo, just give me an easy time. You see, Jah face on money, Rasta. Jah face is on the money. So we're supposed to be wealthy people and combine our wealth and build our nation under good leadership. So the humble be fed, the naked clothed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, and the infants cared for family. Yeah, very, very serious about that. So this is why, again, the whole aspect of understanding what's going on in the Congo is important, and in Africa in general. You know, I'm sure you can pick up by now that it adds to the understanding of where we are as a people and why we're in this situation as a people. Maybe not you as an individual, but you can't separate yourself from your people. And even us as individuals, and we think we're doing good because we can build a house or we can do. No. Number one, many of your people can't do that. And number two, again, that is not where we have to be. We're supposed to be able to build mansions so we can house our people. You know, being able to supply food, clothing, shelter for a few people, that sounds nice. And their family, that sounds good. But we all, each and every one of us, we're supposed to be in a position that we can support 10 families. The same way you can support your family, you're supposed to be able to support 10 families at least in the very same way. Yeah, whether you do it or not, you should have the ability to do it. So we're supposed to aim high, aim big, you know, think not ridiculous, but think high. So you're supposed to say, listen, I'm supposed to have an income of $3,000 every day, you know, and then match that up and see $3,000 a day. What, that sound strange? Nobody on the earth making $3,000 a day, yo. No, come talk to me. There's nobody on the planet making $3,000 a day. So if you start to make $3,000 every day, you're going to be the first person ever to make $3,000 a day. Enough people making $3,000 every single day. So why you can't do that? Boy, $3,000 is plenty money, man. Every day, every day. So in 7 days you have $21,000 in 7 days. Wow, that's a kind of hour. You know, every month you gone $84,000. That's a year's salary. That's more than a year's salary for most. Some people don't make $80,000 every year. Some people don't make $80,000 every year. Some people don't make $40,000 every year. And they get by. They even seem like everything all right. But if you make $3,000 every day, you make $80,000+ every month. And you know, too, some people are sinning by talking this thing, you know, sinning, you know, like, boy, that's why all that money you bank, you don't need all that money, man. You have to get back to me. What money you talking about? I'm talking about the economic growth. I didn't tell you to make no money to sit down on it and put it in no bank. You don't see how we're thinking here? It's about investing, it's about growing, it's about assets, and it's about empire building. That's why you see us promote all of this. This program is Mind Your Business, Empire Business, Building, Megalith Investment Group. This is the investment wing of Rastafari Experience Antigua. That's another company we have. This is at the investment wing of it. And right now, I can tell you straight, man, we're doing good works when it comes to the growth of our business and assisting individuals to increase their finance, manage their money. You know, as I was saying earlier, some of us, we have money on the bank and it's just there. You'll be there for a whole year, get a little 1 or 2%, and we're not upset. And these people that have our money in the bank, if you go for the money, you can't get it back right away. Because the money is not in the bank. This is not the Andy Griffith show where you go to the bank and you put the money in a shoebox and put it, write your name on it, and you can just go back for it. That's not how it goes. The bank is an investment hub. Every bank is an investment company. You just carry your money there to invest it for very, very, very little. You think it's a storehouse or a saving place. They never taught you what a bank really was. You understand? So we have set ourselves in a way now where we are actually doing such more than even the bank. Because if you know the investment world, when you invest 10%, 8%, 6% return into you, that's a good return annually too. But the way that we are set up, I'm telling you for sure, as you can see right here, great returns between 10 and 20%. And as you know, everything is trustworthy and transparent, you understand? And we're dealing with the Green Castle Hill Preservation Project. We're dealing with Rastafari Experience Antigua specifically, and also dealing with the Cannabis Project. So for sure, once you are serious about growing your economy, growing your finance, as I said, we do consultations, so you can contact us. You can get more information than what you're seeing on this flyer here. And then if you desire, after going through the full brochure, to be a part of it, you can contact us for a consultation and we can sit down, deal with everything legally, deal with everything upfront, transparent. You definitely will get a continual, contact from us to know how your finance is going, exactly what is invested in, and exactly when the returns are coming. And I mean, family, this is serious beyond the levels that most ones would have us think at this time. So this is why I'm showing you Rastafari. Empire building is what we are on. And anybody out there talking about, boy, man, talk about too much money, and you see, the whole program is about money. We don't like to hear about that. We want to talk about what color is Jesus. Believe it or not. I mean, that will help to free you, but that is not what's going to free you. Money ain't going to free you neither. But we have to have power. Money, you convert money into assets and land and these things. You don't just hold the paper and stuff it in your pocket. Using money is like musical chairs. One of these days, the song is gonna stop and it's just gonna be paper in your hand. So use it quick. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks, my family, for your love. Give thanks for your presence. Give thanks for the blessed day. Give thanks for the life giver and the keeper of life. Of course, looking forward continually to come and sit and sup with you again. I'm inviting you to definitely check us on Radio Anu. Check us on the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Of course, check our shop store and definitely get the best shirts and jerseys and then check out all of our books and videos. We have so many things, services, redemption, healing. We have enough things to offer, family. Give thanks. Buy black, talk black, walk black, blacker black. Give thanks to Marcus Garvey, the Black Tiger. Yes, family, all the love in the world. Holy Emmanuel, Selassie, Jah, Rastafari, blessed God.